Good morning, everyone. My name is Lou, and I'm an addict. That's what I am. I'm pleased to be here this morning. I don't know what's going to happen yet because I don't rehearse. I don't believe in rehearsals. I think rehearsals are more of the mind than they are of the spirit. And so therefore I don't ever rehearse. I turn my will and my life over to the care of God when I sit in that chair, and I ask God to allow me to be an instrument to help another human being. So that's what I'm here for, to help another human being. You know, I'm reminded many years ago I went to a convention, and there was about 700 people in a room. And the speaker asked the people when he started to talk, he said, will you please not have inner conversations with yourself during the time that I'm here? Because you see, there's one person in this room that needs to hear what I have to say. The rest of you, if you enjoy it, that's fine. But one person, I hope, will need to hear what I have to say. And I don't want that one person to leave this room without hearing it, because that's what happened to me. I don't have time to tell you where I came from. I came from where everybody else came from. I lived in an orphanage in San Francisco at a very early age, and I had a lot of strange things happen to me. And I spent a lot of time in institutions. I've been through various states in the United States, and every place that I ever went to, I went to in shackles. And that's how I got to see the United States. And in 1946, I got out of the federal penitentiary, and they sent my life history to Springfield, Missouri. That's the federal nut house. And their prognosis and their understanding, they said that I wouldn't last for longer than 6 months, that I would die of old age in a penal institution, and I was incapable of receiving of love. And they told me that January the 5th, 1946. And it made no difference to me at that time, and because that's what was going to happen to me. And I came back out here to California, and I did what I did for a long time, and I spent a lot of my adult life in California penal institutions. And there was a guy that used to come to San Quentin, and he talked about there was another way to live. And I thought he was an idiot, and I was not interested in what he had to say. And but he kept coming back. Every Thursday he was there, and every Thursday he had the same message. If you will admit that you're powerless, you never have to be here again. And he used to put his hand out, and I'd look at it. I wouldn't shake his hand. And I told him he was a fool, and I didn't make anything like I wanted to be his friend. He offered to come and pick me up, and I told him no, I don't want to go with you. And anyway, but he carried the message. And you know, it was a strange thing happened. I was in that place over there 4 times in 16 months. And in them 4 times in 16 months, he kept coming back, and so did I. And it was a couple of years after that I came to in a place in Oakland, in a hotel, and I realized that what that guy had been trying to tell me all them years before that was true. I lost the capacity to say no. And that started my journey. And some people took me to Napa, and I stayed there for 4 days, and they stayed too. Took 5 of them to take me to Napa, and we all stayed. And when I left there, they took me to a recovery house in San Jose and told me they'd be back and get me in 2 weeks. And I've been here 41 years, and they never came back. And you know, I wasn't interested in recovery. I wasn't into, the only reading that I ever did in my life was I used to read the sports sheet. And I'm a sports nut, or I was, or whatever. Maybe I'm just a nut. But it didn't make any difference. I didn't read anything. And, you know, they say if you have an honest desire to stay clean and sober, that you can come here. And what is a desire? I had none. I wasn't looking to get a new life. I wasn't looking to find God. You know, I'm a Jew by birth, and I went to shul every Saturday. I went to Bible school when I was a kid. I was bar mitzvahed, and I can tell you to this day what I said when I was bar mitzvahed. I never understood what I said, but I still remember it, you know, and I was confirmed, and I was all these things, but nothing ever worked for me. I never had any desire. And I always say this because it's true. I went to a meeting, and I met a woman, and she had what I wanted, and so I had a desire. And that's what started me, you know. It takes what it takes for each one of us to get that desire, you know, and I had it. And they say, you know, God, may you find him now. Well, I found her, you know, and that started the journey. You know, a strange thing happens here. You know, on your birthdays, you know, people always want to give you something. Well, people always gave me books, you know, and I'd say, this is another book, and I got stacks of books, you know. But, you know, I never opened them. You know, I just got books. And, you know, it went on like that. Me and the higher power, we split up. And I started to, I learned how to live by myself. And I learned how to take care of myself. And because I had what I called the if only dream, you know. If only I had a woman. If only she had a house. If only she had a car. If only she had a couple of kids, you know, because when I got here, I was 43 years old, you know, so I wasn't into making them, you know. I needed to get ready-made, you know. And if she only had some sobriety, I'd be fine. I never thought about if I only had a job, you know. I never worked. I sold. I'm a thief by profession, and not a very good one either. But anyway, people kept giving me books, and in 1982, a guy gave me a book. It was called A Day at a Time. And in that book, he wrote, he thanked me for letting him know what a man could be. I have that book at home today. It's not in the same condition it was in 1982 because I have a new puppy, and Max has wiped that book out. But I didn't throw away any of the pages that he tore out of the book. I saved it. I saved the pages because you see, I have another one of those books. And that when I get to that page that he tore up, I will get the other book out and read it. And, you know, it's over. They say here that if you find something that works for you, you have to be willing to give it away. Well, I found a life. I found a wife. You know, I found a friend. I found a lot of friends. When people used to come to me and they used to say, I love you, you know, I used to cringe because, you see, I'm unlovable. I know who I am. I know who I've been. you know, and I kept trying to find a human being. I kept trying to find her, so I could be okay with, you know, that's my higher power, you know. And the second step in the program that I work, it talks about I came to, and I came to believe. And I came to believe that God is my Father. God loves me. And, you know, I ask myself simple questions. I'm not a complicated person. I ask myself, could I get Louis standing right here where I'm at right now with my cunning, baffling, and powerful brain? And the answer is no, I couldn't. The judge couldn't. The parole officer couldn't. The warden couldn't. The woman couldn't. No human power could get me where I'm at today. So I came, and I came to, and I came to believe. And you see, that requires for me that I try to the best of my ability to relieve me of self. Self is my enemy. And self will direct me to do things that I really don't want to do. Self will cause me to react to situations from the past. You know, I learned how to not only read here, I learned how to listen. I had a sponsor that made me go to meetings and to report back to him what I heard. And, not, you know, we're all cunning, baffling, and powerful. You know, you listen to the last person that talks. You know, later with the rest of them, you know. Well, he went to the same meetings I went to, and so he would tell me, Louis, you got to hear the third person. So I'd have to pay attention to the third, and then I had to still pay attention to the last. So, but I started to read this one day at a time, and I gave my wife one, and at the end of the year, she said, when do I get my new book? I said, you don't get a new one. You read the old one. You know, every day I read that book. Every day I read that page. And then a number of years ago, a guy gave me, I've got a lot of different kind of books at home, but a few years back, a guy gave me a book, and it just fit me, In God's Care. And I love the book. I love the message. You see, because I may not get there, but I'm trying. See, I'm trying to get as close to that power as I can get. I'm trying to have my life be as much as I can. I started to, at the time I was a little more financially able than I am today, so I used to get books and I would give them to people because I found this thing and I wanted people to read them. I wanted people to give them. And I had to learn, you know, when I first started giving somebody something, you know, you say, here, you know, and then next week you ask them, how'd you like it? You know, Max nix. It's not the way it goes. Here's the gift. It's up to you to do what you want with it. That's what I had to do, see. So I stopped asking people if they like the book. I don't ask them if they read the books. I don't ask them what they do with the books. That's not my job. See, my job is to give something that I found here. I have a prayer. You know, it's like, I've heard this. I did it myself. I get up in the morning, get on my knees. Oh, thank you, Father. Give me, make the wife be good today. Make the boss be all right. You know, I need a new car, God, you know, and all this. You give God all these directions, you know, and then you get up and then you run around and you do your own thing, you know, and people say, well, oh yeah, I prayed today. I got on my knees and I did that. I did that. And finally, something happens. And the things that happened, most of the things that happened to me are not of my mind. Something happens inside here. And this thing came to me and it says, why are you trying to direct God? Maybe you should thank God instead of telling him what you want. What I want and what I need are two different things. See, I want what I want up here, and that's not what that's not what recovery is all about. It says in the book, and it's been preached to me, this is a God-given, God-inspired program. And until such time as I can come to the point to where I believe that God is my Father, and I thank him every single day. I thank him in the morning when I wake up and I have to go to the bathroom. I come back and I get in bed and I thank God. I thank God for this day of life and of sobriety. I thank him for the beauty, the kindness, the love, and the friendship and the fellowship he's put into my life. I thank him for the misery, suffering, pain, magic, and addiction that he's taken away from me. I ask him to please relieve me of the bondage of self. I got a chance. I read the book every day, that one page. It's been talking about humility and about pride and about ego. See, I may not remember it, but I feed myself this stuff. See? And for whatever beauty that seems to generate from here has been given to me this way. It has not originated inside of me. We all get a gift if I'm a receptacle, if I'm able to receive. If I'm able to receive, I want to give. I've been so blessed. I was going, I spent 4 years living by myself, and I learned how to take care of myself. I did everything. I washed my own dishes, did my own shopping. I did everything, paid all my bills. I met a woman. I liked her. She was a fox. And, I'll never forget the first night I saw her. I was speaking at Campbell High School, and the door opened, and this blonde walked in, and God, I tell you, she had on a green sweater and white pants, and she had blonde hair down to the back of her, way down here. I never forget it, And anyway, I went with her. We went together, and she had a son who was 16. And, men are smart, they're cunning, baffling, and powerful. You go with a woman that's got any kids, you want to win the woman, win the kids first. See, that's the old game, Well, I wasn't willing to play the game, But one night after I had asked my wife to marry me, all three of us were standing in a room, and I asked Dee Dee, I said, how do you feel about your mother and I? This kid's 16 years old. He came over, he put his arms around me, and he said, thank God you finally arrived. I'm dead. I'm done. I'm finished. This is where I'm supposed to be, Dee Dee is my son. See, I don't believe in stepkids. I've been a step, and I've been a half a step, and a quarter of a step, and I've been all them, you know, and I just don't believe it. You know, I have two daughters by my first marriage with Pat, and I've been married now to my wife for in February it'll be 30 years, and every time I talk to my girls, they all tell me the same thing when we get ready to hang up. I love you. Can't buy it. Ain't for sale. It didn't happen here. The thing that makes me emotional when I talk is because it's in here. See. I watch movies and about kids, and I cry. My wife doesn't understand. And I told her, I said, you know, there's a little kid inside of me that was not wanted, needed, or loved. And he never was able to come out. I'm 84 years old. And the little kid is still alive. The little kid comes out, and he makes me emotional. He makes me emotional when I deal with people. I am eternally grateful for the people that I have in my life. I tell them, I love you. And you know, it's weird because I got a lot of men in my life, and I tell them, I love you. You know, and I do. You know, just the other night I was given a gift. A guy that I sponsor has been married for 20 years, and they had a anniversary party at his house, and he invited me. And Cindy's mother was one of the people that talked. And Charles says, there's only one other person in this room that I want to hear what he has to say, and that's my friend Lou. God is alive. God works. Am I willing? Am I willing to keep going? Am I willing to put my hand out? Am I willing to face the rejection of somebody doesn't want my hand? See? Not everybody wants what I got. I'd be an idiot if I thought so. That's why I say there's one person here in this room that needs to hear what I got to say. Because they have the same kind of pain. I don't run from pain. See? And it's time for me to shut my mouth and get out of here. And you know, if he didn't do that, I'd be here for the next half hour. Because you see, there's a lot of things I got to say. There's a lot of messages. You know, I've been given a gift. Been given a gift. And I honor the gift. And I honor you people. I go to meetings and I tell people, you know what? If there was nobody here in this room but me, would I stay? No. See? So I need to honor all the people that are here. You people give me the strength, the courage, and the wisdom to keep coming back. I love everyone here. Thank you very much.